Okay, hello. Welcome to the B-roll for Positive Masculinity Podcast number 7 with Aniha and Kumar. What's your B-roll topic, Aniha?
My B-roll topic is JiuJitsu,
Okay,
the sport.
okay. What about it?
So I did it for actually know how many years, just on and off, like a few years. I was very, very, very into it, and that spark kind of died off. And about like some of the things that made me off from it, that I really enjoy about it, both aspects.
Okay. Yeah. Like what didn't you appreciate so much?
Um, so this is definitely more prominent in like I've lived, where this has happened, but I think I've really enjoyed jiu-jitsu as a sport that was just going to keep my mind going later in the day. It's a good workout for sure. And then I don't know, I felt like my brain was like you know how you like feel when you're performing like mathematical, like you're solving a math problem. That's kind of how I felt. Jiu-jitsu is like solving a math problem, but like physically. Um, it's just a really fun experience for me. Um, I just felt smart. I felt badass. I felt smart. But I feel like the way the sport is set up, maybe it's I think it felt culty. And this is not of like every jiu-jitsu gym that I've been to, but I think as a whole, it feels a little bit like sleep jiu-jitsu. And I did not eat, breathe, sleep, love jiu-jitsu because I was also in school, in grad school, during most of that. And I just felt like I wasn't into it as much as maybe other people were, and that made me feel like distant from it.
Well, I think like it's not even that you don't eat, sleep, breathe, love jiu-jitsu. Like I do. Okay, but like I do definitely do think like some of that like I like to do it because it's fun. Like I go there every day because it's fun. I love to compete because it's fun. Right? It did feel like a religion for to some of these people, and it's like okay, I get it. Right? Like I've been doing this since I was 4, so like I get like the like almost religious aspect of it, but like it definitely felt very weird when like even at like there was a certain place we were at where we went to a striking class in the same gym as we went to the jiu-jitsu class, and they were like, why weren't you at jiu-jitsu practice? And we were like, the fuck, like, you know, like it was definitely, I don't know.
Weird for sure. And like this is true of like because I trained in Dubai as well for jiu-jitsu for a little bit because I was like really really into it for a few years, and so like when I went home for the summer I was like, oh, I got to find a gym here. And like time, but at the same time, like not even joking when I would say like I don't know what these people did for a living, by the way, because they'd be there from like morning class to the evening class. Like they lived there. They literally lived there. And which is crazy to me because I'm like, listen, I love being at the gym. It is my calm place. I get to play music and chill out and zone out and like do my own good after. I would
You're
not
talking about
stay at the
the talking about the normal gym, just to like now the thing you do now at the normal gym, just to update everyone.
so just like weightlifting. Like I or like whatever I'm doing, mostly weightlifting. Like I enjoy it. But like I can't do it for more than 2 to 3 hours at most. 3 hours is really pushing my like at the gym. Um, I'm like I had people like can be that passionate, but it was just like I couldn't really get anything out of them besides like I train every day, which at that point, like if you're there 10 hours a day, I guess what else are you gonna talk about? You're not doing it. Um, and I think that like that's awesome, and I have no reason to judge you, but I think that when it started feeling like I was maybe being called out for not doing more than I was, like just coming in for an hour and leaving. Um, it felt be like I was being judged for that, and that's where I was just like, I don't know if what I really this. And this is not true of like the last place that I went to at all.
Carl and Jeremy, if you're watching this, we're not talking about you. We love you. Promise.
Absolutely not. I had a really positive experience there. That's actually what like got me back into jiu-jitsu after I left.
Yeah, I had to coax you back into going, like, and to go to Steel, and you finally went, and like I just saw like you liked it again, and I was like, oh, sweet, you know. And it was frustrating, I think, because like if people were just like more soft with you, I think you would have gotten more into it than them trying to like hardball you into it. If you understand anything about that, like they almost try to like press you into it, and like, dude, you were so good. Oh my god, so ridiculous. And like, I was jealous of how good you were at jiu-jitsu, right? And like, I think just the attitude shift from it like being like your responsibility to show up because you were so good to like at Steel, Jeremy like he didn't think it was your responsibility to show up. He understood that you just paid, you know, like you paid and you showed up, right? But he saw the potential in you, and I could tell he just wanted you to be good because you were good, right? He wanted you to get that skill that he knew you had inside of you. So instead of like being like almost like trying to rope someone, like trying to, you know, keep someone in the cult, it was just like he was trying to do something for you. You understand what I mean? Right? Because he was excited for you.
Right? Like he was a good coach.
Yeah.
That's what it was like, where they think you have potential, right? I think that like unfortunately I just couldn't get out of my own headspace about like the pressure of like it's like just doing the most. Like I couldn't get that out of my head, and I started getting in my head about it, and it started getting less like enjoyable and more stressful to me. And that is literally like after moving to San Diego, that was all just me. Like I was in my own head about all of that. You know what I mean? And I just couldn't, like I tried over and over again to just like view it as like a fun place for me to be at and like vibe out with awesome people and learn from like super skilled like jiu-jitsu. At the end of the day, I just couldn't get over like, I don't know, like took it too seriously because of the way I entered the sport. And I just couldn't like get rid of that. Like even competing and stuff, like I like genuinely get anxiety attacks. Like I used to get anxiety attacks about it, and that sucks because like who cares? You paid for it. It's fun experience, and like you lose and like whatever, right? Like but like I couldn't do that.
Well, and it's also so frustrating because like I think you would have had genuine success in jiu-jitsu, and I also think that like we love everyone. Like we really like people at Steel, like we really do, right? And I mean, I'm still going, okay? Like my shoulder still hurt. I probably like I'm coming back, okay?
Okay.
I'm trying every day. I'm lifting weights for the first time to try to help rehab more, okay? Aniha comes with me.
We try to have him. We tried the other day, and he couldn't weight on his back, and we're like, all right, well, so yeah. he's still recovering.
Yeah, I couldn't even reach the squat, the squat bar. I was like with my right hand, I can't get the squat bar up, so I'm clearly not better for training yet, which is unfortunate. I can strike again, but I can't even hold. I can only strike the mitts, not even hold the mitts. So,
yeah, holding mitts all the time, but
yeah, I'm so sorry. But yeah, I think that like we're in a weird crossroads of jiu-jitsu where we have two types of gyms, and I think in general, like, well, not including Steel, right? I think Steel's a very special place, right? But and maybe I'm biased because, you know, maybe I'm definitely I'm definitely biased, okay? I tell everyone to go.
I'm not to be, right? I mean, I love Carl, don't get me wrong, but like I don't have a reason to be biased, and I still love that place. Like I genuinely like felt like a little not toxic family.
Yeah. But I feel like we're at a crossroads where there's a lot of like almost like McDojo gyms now, right? Where they're like they're kind of just they're just set up to like get people into the sport and just kind of like be really super 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 chill to the point where you're like it doesn't feel like you're growing, or there's like you wake up, you eat, you sleep, you drink, you know, piss, jiu-jitsu, and you're like, okay, well, like this is also not super sustainable. Like I work a salary job, like I don't even know if I can even train every day. Like sometimes I just gotta work. Like what do you mean, you know? Like,
At some of the older gyms that I've been at, like, and this was when I was in school, you know, like I would have people, like I wouldn't show up for like a week or two because like, I don't know, it's like finals week. And like I had people be like, wow, it's been a really long time since you've been here. And I'm like,
it's been a week. Like, lit-
supposed to do?
yeah.
Yeah. I just didn't want to like feel like already a heavy responsibility. I mean, work's a heavy responsibility now, right? Like, I don't want to feel like I'm responsible for more things than I need to be. Everything else in my life, I'm trying to just make enjoyable and fun. Again, forced ego, but
Repeat.
I
Repeat. Hold on. Repeat what you just said because you cut out through the whole sentence.
said not something that I felt during like in San Diego, but at the same time, like I just couldn't erase that like mentality because I think a majority of my jiu-jitsu training happened outside of San Diego. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it definitely really stinks that they lost you. I think like a lot of people are really sad, but like I don't know. I think.
dead, I'm still here. Like
Well, no, like see you go like not training because like you're fun to train with too. Like you're always like you're always great at practice, right? Like you don't really like I don't know. You don't like have really come with a bad attitude, and you also you know how to train really hard too, which is like not I guess not as normal. I want to say like there's normally the people that are just cruising, they don't come in and they don't train super hard, or they come in and they act like every practice is like the fucking world championship, which is neither of which is super enjoyable. the fucking
no.
world the world championship people at practice bother me so much sometimes when you're just trying to have like a chill practice, like especially when it's like oh, a lot of men love to roll with women and do this thing where they're chronically either like barely rolling or they're like ready to pick you up and slam you to make sure they don't get beat by a girl, which is just like speaking of a negative masculinity, you know, like
Yeah, I've definitely experienced a lot of that, and I would consider both of those things extremely negatively masculine. Because, like, if you think that I'm so weak that you're gonna pitter patter around me when I'm here, I'm training. Obviously, I don't mind um, any like heavy physical, like whatever you needed, like you know what I mean. Um, and choosing to still treat me like I'm different is sexist. Um, Even though some people might view it as like being chivalrous, it's sexist. In that context, is like very sexist.
yeah, well, there's a difference between going 0% and going 100%. There's literally 99 other numbers of percent you could pick, okay? Like if you really think that like the girl that you're rolling against is not as like athletic as you, like okay, you can go full skill and just maybe go like half your athleticism. Like it's not I don't know, maybe it's because I'm doing this since I was 4, right? Or something, you know, but like I feel like it's not that hard to just not pick not to not either go or like literally like I've seen you get picked up and fucking slammed and shit and I'm like come on bro, what is happening?
Also, like it shouldn't be too hard for. I mean, it's hard. Don't get me wrong to like adjust your like strength based on who you're rolling with, but like I've done it more with other people, right? Like do the same thing and like really objectively if I'm the same size as you or the same weight class as you really shouldn't be treating me much different um because like if we're the same weight class, whoever I train against could be as muscular as you and could be as strong as you, and I really need to be able to train against someone who is just dense muscle, you know what I mean? Like that's a good person to train against.
Yeah, Yeah, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely like I feel like that probably was another factor for you that like I used to get as a kid, so I totally get it. But like a lot of men would not understand, right? As a woman rolling. Yeah.
Um, definitely had this where like you said, like I mean honestly experiences they start off like very like 0%, like where they give no effort, and then like because you're putting absolutely no effort in, I'm bound to be better than that, right? Because I have like some level of skill, and then immediately they like realize that like, oh well, this looks bad, I'm gonna lose to a girl, and then like freaking turn on me and use all of their strength against me, and that really sucks because I'm like, well, I didn't deserve this.
Well, it's also kind of dangerous in the middle of like a roll, right? Where you're like, okay, this person's just flow rolling, I guess, and then they all of a sudden just like, and you're like, what the fuck happened? Yeah. Yeah, and like it can be frustrating for like someone my size too, because like I am woman sized, right? Like and so like I can't even get mad when women won't roll with me because I just then I'll look over at like them roll with another person. I'm like, that's why she won't roll with me, like because these men are psycho,
Yeah, I
bro.
mean, also because like I think a lot of people like don't understand how to control their strength. Um, can be very damaging at the end of the day. I know a lot of women in jiu-jitsu who like will avoid a lot of men in jiu-jitsu because of their inability to like control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know. Yeah, the one person at Steel we know really well or pretty well. Would talk about it a lot, and I just would feel so bad for her because she's so good. She definitely doesn't deserve to have men just fuck her up all the time.
I know you've told. I know who you're talking about. Um,
um, yeah. Um, and that's like I guess we talked a lot more about being like a woman than we talked about the other things, but like yeah, I feel like that's just kind of like the icing on the cake. I feel like yeah, I definitely like. I think if I started in college, I probably wouldn't be as into it. I think luckily like I had a really healthy introduction to jiu-jitsu, right? And then yeah, so I like by the time I got to college, I had the wherewithal to go like not even that this is a bad gym because I didn't even think like any of the gyms as a whole we went to were bad. I think it was just like some bad actors at the gym, right? I did but like there was enough to make it seem like if this was your only gym you've ever been to, like I could understand why you might be like, okay, is this is how jiu-jitsu is like what the fuck, you know?
yeah, I mean them, and I think they were all like so that we're on the same like level of like I don't really want to be here.
Yeah, yeah. It can be frustrating when it's not just about like you showing up and like learning a skill. Like I think that's like the core essence of why I like it. Like I don't know about you why you liked it, but like or you explained why you liked it. You just like solving a math. You get to have your brain keep going, and you're just like solving a math problem, right? So you were saying earlier, and I think like people lose sight of it because it becomes so important to them, which I get, but like you have to understand that like it's not important to everyone, right? Sometimes people just want to show up and just want to have fun after work, right? Like listen, no one wants to show up and have fun after work with by doing jiu-jitsu more than me right now, okay? I haven't done it for like almost
Right.
two years now. I get it, okay? I get it, but like
Well, sometimes I wish like the whole community was more similar to like. By the way, I've been bouldering once because Isaiah forced me to go, and I loved it. But um, it seems like the bouldering community is kind of like I would want. Um, and wanted with jiu-jitsu is like it's very like you because you just want to work on your skills and then you go home and no one's expecting you there that much. Like I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but it just seemed like everyone was super chill and like didn't have expectations for other people, just for themselves.
Yeah, and I think I felt that way about Steel, unless you like openly said you had expectations for yourself, right?
You're right.
But yeah, I think that you had been you'd been tainted already, you know.
And honestly, this comes down to like resilience. I just wasn't resilient enough to like get through it, like mentally get through it and like keep going. Like I feel like in my own head every day about it, and then I was like, I don't know if I can keep this up.
Yeah, and I think you also, not only that, like you're very much a perfectionist, which is like didn't help either. So then it's two things that don't mix very well, right? Like, you know, that like them giving an external expectation and you having an internal expectation, right? Yeah, I think that's also something that I really liked about like gi versus no gi, is that like when you're doing no gi, like you show up and you just show up and you go and you roll, right? You don't worry about like all this other shit. I don't know. And maybe that's toxic of me to like be like, all right, well, like no one has any belts on, like I'll feel better about it. You know, maybe that's toxic. Maybe I need to like work that through that myself, right? But like, I don't know. I feel like without the belts, it's just about showing up and learning a skill, not like trying to like get more, get more stripes or whatever.
Yeah, no, I think it feels more like a class of passion than it does like more like I don't know if that makes any
I
sense.
didn't hear the word you used.
Like nogi is like more like passion for learning, and like a lot of it's like it felt more like a tradition in a sense, like more traditional work happening. I don't know how else to explain it. um Maybe it's also because like at the end of the day I kind of wanted to do like more MMA, and so for me, I guess like nogi made a lot more sense for me to work on.
Yeah, but it's also kind of frustrating because it's like it's not that like but like the traditional martial arts are set up in a way that nobody can be actively trying to make it a cult, and the setup is kind of culty already, which is super unfortunate, right? And again, just to be super clear, I don't even think anybody at the gyms that we're talking crap about like we're trying to try it up to be culty, but like just the setup when it's more traditionalized like that, the more traditional you get, right? Like the more culty we get. Like coach that I know from when I was like super young, right? Without mentioning his name, super nice to us. But like we showed up one time to his open mat and like we had black gis on because that's all we had, and like at every other gym we're allowed to wear. Well, you're not allowed to wear black gis. Only like so and so types of people are allowed to wear black gis. It's like it's a colored, it's colored clothing, bro. Like come on, that's
Okay, that's kind of what I mean. Is like I feel like there was so much importance on like I with a lot of the gyms that I went to, but like I said, just felt weird where like I felt like I was like in ice and I was like following old traditions and I didn't want to offend anyone. I mean, it's that whole little thing back in the day that kind of standards, but
it's all whole what? I'm sorry.
really back in the day that set up all these standards for us.
I understand. I mean, to be fair, they took it from a culture that was it came from Japan, and Japan's very about tradition. Still very about tradition to this day, right? It's like actually become a huge problem in Japan culturally, right? Um, yeah, yeah. So it's like, yeah. I mean, it makes sense that like but like, I think the yeah, I think nogi's really helped. I don't think I would have actually survived very long if I didn't transfer to nogi, doing mainly nogi as like a child. I think just because it was just so like restrictive. I would say.
Oh,
What?
did you
You're cutting out.
did you mean non-restrictive?
No. I don't think I would have survived. I didn't change to nogi because gi was so like it felt so restrictive, even as a child, right? Like it felt like it was more about discipline, and I was like, listen, I'm already a good kid. I'm showing up to learn things, And then I started doing nogi classes with adults, and it was like, okay, this seems a lot more about learning the skills than this whole like respect tradition thing. Like I respect my coach because he's my coach, and and he's like better than me, not because like I respect I respect Jeremy because he's a good guy, okay, and because he knows a hell of a lot about jiu-jitsu, right? Not necessarily because he's a black belt. Like that's it. By the way, amazing achievement, super hard to do. I was there when he got it. Super proud of him. I love Jeremy. Just not, but like that's not why I respect. When he was a brown belt, I still respected him just as much. He's so good. Like that's why I respect him. He's good and he's a good person.
He's not. It's not because he's now a god.
Yeah, he doesn't get it and just magically it's just like welcome to Olympus, you know? Like no, like
that's kind of how it's like treated sometimes. It's like odd if you're like family members or a disciple of one of those family members.
Wait,
I'm like not saying it like I'm saying it like they're Voldemort. Like I'm not saying their name.
You can say the Gracies, bro. I don't care. Okay.
I don't know why I'm saying it like it's the cartel. Like I can't.
They're the jiu-jitsu cartel, okay? They run IBJJF, okay? They changed
man, you not ever compete again.
They changed the rules so they changed the rule. That's why there's not allowed. You're allowed to do certain leg locks and shit. Because they changed the rules, so that their stuff would win. But yeah, either way, no, I definitely like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. It's hard because like again like I love going to jiu-jitsu. I'm gonna continue to go to jiu-jitsu once I get cleared. Like, but I do feel like sometimes, the traditional martial arts aspect of it actually hurts it rather than help it. Right? It's more gatekeepy to people that like would be good skill wise and enjoyment and like would get like benefits of it, right? Whereas I think traditional martial arts are really good for children. I think for adults it can be kind of harmful sometimes when it's like, okay, like that's great, like what's going on here? Like why we, I don't know. Yeah, and I want to reiterate, it's like it's almost systemically this way. It's not like there's any like, well, there obviously are bad actors, right? Just inherently because there are everywhere. But like I don't think there's like jiu-jitsu is full of like mostly bad actors that are trying to create a cult. I think the system kind of creates that in a certain sense.
Really?
Yeah.
I really had to say about it. I mean, it's gonna find this interesting except for us.
I think so. Well, it's gonna upset some people, but they can cry about it. Okay, I love him even if
no one that I.
Yeah. What?
Even if what?
I'll love them even if they're upset with me because I disagree. Disagree with them on traditional jiu-jitsu.
You're just pissed off, but I'm not thinking about it.
Yeah.
Piss anyone off. I'm not trying to say that it's like that I've personally met. Not anyone. Really no one that I've met.
Yeah. I think to reiterate with both of us, like if you like that aspect of jiu-jitsu, like the structure, right? The really like, I don't think it's bad to like the structure, Like if we're not talking.
Oh.
Yeah. We're not talking like bad about you, right? Like we don't think that you're like, we don't think that you're bad. We don't think that the people involved in the structure are bad. It's just that like I don't think the structure works for everyone, and I think because there's so much of an emphasis on like I understand doing gi makes you better at no gi, but I think the fact that it's so gi skewed and that's so much more traditional, I think can be kind of a hindrance to some people and like kind of take the enjoyment out of some people.
I'm being honest, like I really enjoyed no gi a lot more. It felt a lot freeing. I felt like a dolphin. Free.
That's not, you're talking about the technique. I'm not even talking. I'm talking about like it felt freer. Like it felt more about learning the skills, and it wasn't even like that we had any change in attitude. It was just the setup of like the belt structure and everything like that, right?
Talking about the technique, I like it better because they are like definitely very different.
Oh yeah, high level, like I mean low level, like yeah, if you get good at one, you're gonna be good at the other. But like high level, like the people that are good at one are not necessarily good at the other. I feel like, you know, or well, they're good, but they're not like necessarily like world champions at both, right? Which happens, but like I feel like it's becoming more rare. Yeah, because they're different sports. It's like being Greco-Roman wrestler versus a freestyle wrestler versus a folk style wrestler, right?
Which is my preference.
Yeah. No, there's nothing wrong with having a preference, and like again, we're not trying to like talk shit on anyone. We're just trying to, you know, talk about the problems that we had.
So tiptoey, rather. We're so like stressed.
Well, I don't want anyone to come around being like, yeah, Davin and Aniha fucking hate all the people that do gi jiu-jitsu. It's like, no, we don't, bro. Like, that's just your thing. It's not our thing. Like, it can be not our thing, you know? Yeah.
See what's in my stocking from this angle.
You can see what's in your stocking?
No.
You stink. I don't know why you turn so you can see it better. You... Such a turn.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So that's all I had.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Thank you so much, my love, for, you know, for doing this interview with me, doing the B-roll. It was very enjoyable. Mm-hmm. Okay. And
it was fun.
Good. I'm glad. Yeah. So yeah. Thanks everyone for showing up. Super happy to have you guys. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Okay. Bye bye.